Did the Minnesota Vikings even want rookie quarterback out of the University of Michigan, J.J. McCarthy?
Oh!
Score North's Judd Zolgad, who is an insider, is always a part of Minnesota Vikings training camp practices, has sources within the Minnesota Vikings organization, has been around for a long time. They've been doing Purple Daily for a while now, and it's a very successful show. Shared an interesting tidbit about Minnesota Vikings rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy and their interest in him. But this take is presented by Hoagland Farm. Contact Hoagland Farm at 952-491-1541 and get the best rotationally grazed 100% grass-fed beef. This beef is sold in quarters and halves, and it has custom sample packs so you can try before you buy. Get 20% off by mentioning the Minnesota Tim podcast when you call 952-491-1541. Okay, so let me play this video from Judd about the Minnesota Vikings' supposed interest in a different quarterback.
Well, first of all, I think Alex is right. I think that their first choice in the list, with Caleb obviously going at 1 to Chicago, was Drake May. Second of all, I've heard rumblings on Penix that the Vikings did love him, and they liked his arm, and they liked him more than McCarthy. Those are nothing more than rumblings, okay?
So a couple of things need to be answered. First, who's Alex? I don't know who Alex is. I didn't watch the full episode. I just watched this short clip posted by the Purple Persuasion Twitter account, which you need to go follow. Second, what is a rumbling? Noise. You know, sometimes I fart and it's silent but deadly. Is that a rumbling? Sometimes I fart and it sounds like you're going over rumble strips on the side of the road when you're on Highway 94. Is that a rumbling? What is a rumbling? I'm sure a rumbling in this case is the rumble strip theory, because there's a few people talking about it. There's a few people with inside sources talking about the possibility. Well, first of all, the Michael Penix Jr. thing to Atlanta shocked everybody. It seemed like the Minnesota Vikings' interest was in J.J. McCarthy the entire offseason. Now, I will say this. The Minnesota Vikings did not want J.J. McCarthy first. They wanted Drake May. And that was apparent all offseason. So as much as Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah are going to show off their shiny new toy in J.J. McCarthy was not their first choice. They asked Drake May to the dance first, but Drake May was asked by somebody else. And they got stuck going to the dance with J.J. McCarthy. This sounds like my senior prom. I was stuck going with someone else. Anyways, J.J. McCarthy compared to Michael Penix Jr. The Minnesota Vikings brought in Sam Darnold to be that bridge quarterback, and everybody knows that. J.J. McCarthy is only 21 years old. He has the big advantage in age over Michael Penix Jr. Plus, Michael Penix Jr. has an injury history. So, J.J. McCarthy has the age advantage. He has the health advantage. Michael Penix Jr. has that arm talent, but so does J.J. McCarthy. Everyone's just been discussing all offseason about how big of an arm he has. So I'm really comparing these players back and forth because we need to figure out how true these rumblings are. And I'm sure there's a little truth to them. Maybe it was 50-50. Maybe it was 60-40 towards J.J. McCarthy. But once Drake Mayo's off the board, it became a decision between one of these quarterbacks. And I'm not buying the Michael Penix Jr. rumors because J.J. McCarthy looks like a Minnesota Viking. Okay, that's a stupid take.
Huh?
I'm not buying the Michael Penix Jr. rumors because J.J. McCarthy fits the Minnesota Vikings organization better. That's a stupid take, too.
Huh?
I don't know why I'm not buying the Michael Penix Jr. rumors, but I'm not buying it because I've been on this all offseason. Ever since the Minnesota Vikings NFL season was over last year, I said the Vikings are drafting J.J. McCarthy. And I don't know why I said that, other than the fact that he actually does look like a Minnesota Viking. He just looks like a player the Minnesota Vikings would draft. Guy that's a winner mentally and physically. He's been a winner in high school and college. The Minnesota Vikings love him. He's accurate. He's got the arm strength. He was in an NFL system in college. So the Minnesota Vikings rumbling loved Michael Penix Jr. more than J.J. McCarthy. But then there's this other side of me that says, you know what? J.J. McCarthy, in my opinion, wasn't asked to do anything collegiately. And now you're going to ask a guy who was asked to hand the ball off and throw dump down passes for the most part to great wide receivers and a great running back to come into the organization and be a franchise guy versus Michael Penix Jr., who took these College of Washington all the way to the national championship game. So you compare those two things, and the guy that you want isn't even close. The guy you want is Michael Penix Jr. But I think the question that needs to be discussed also is Michael Penix Jr., what is he? Is he 24 years old? I think he's 24 years old. If he... And his birthday is May 8th. So he just turned 24 years old. He's a young 24 years old to start the season. At 25 years old, let's just say that he would have sat for his first season under Sam Darnold. Maybe he starts halfway through the year. Maybe it's a little different for him because he's older, more mature, more talented than J.J. McCarthy is at this point. Is that too late? Do you really want to develop a quarterback who is already 24 years old? I mean, let's say he starts at 26, and I guess he got 10 years of a franchise guy, so it's not too late, but doesn't it sound better to have a franchise guy at 22 years old than a franchise guy at 26 years old? I think it does. So these rumblings could be true. J.J. McCarthy has shown things in college and in OTAs, quite honestly, that make you think that this could be true. But the Minnesota Vikings are never going to disclose that. That's never going to be a thing that happens. But there are rumblings, whatever that keyword means, from Judd. All right, everyone, thank you for watching the show on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button right there. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please rate, review, and follow the show wherever you are listening. Remember, Copeland Farm, 952-491-1541, and get 20% off your first order by mentioning the Minnesota Tim Podcast.